Hey there everyone, Foxy Fern here, and welcome to our first ever animation live stream on this channel. Uh, totally have been talking for the past 3 minutes and realized that I needed to click the go live button on YouTube, so fun times, already messing things up. So anyway, today I would like to show you guys how I would handle animating a jump for a video game. There are a couple of different ways that you can do jumps, and it just kind of depends on the type of game that you're making. But the way I'm going to animate one today would be similar to what I would do for the game that I'm currently working on, which unfortunately I can't talk about, but I can tell you like the parameters that we would animate a jump in. So for starters, normally you're going to have a big anticipation for a jump, like if a character is jumping in a cartoon or a movie. But in a video game, generally you're going to have to shave off that anticipation because you need to have very reactive animations to what your player is doing. Because like if you press the jump button and it doesn't immediately jump and your character falls into a hole, well, that doesn't feel very good. So we're gonna approach it with that in mind, and then also like matching up poses at the beginning and the end of the animation. So today we're using this character called Sam. She's not the most appealing character in my opinion, but I wanted to do something that seemed kind of like video gamey, and I wanted to use a character that you guys could also use. And I did share in the chat a link to this rig, but that was before I realized that I wasn't actually live. So I'm going to do that again because I'm not entirely sure if you can see chat before the stream went live. I will also put a link to it in the video description after this stream is over, but for now I'll just keep it in chat. Alright, so because of some technical difficulties that I was having throughout the last few hours, I didn't actually have time to find my video reference for this, but that gives me a good opportunity to kind of show you guys how I approach finding video reference. So we're gonna start with Getty Images. So I'll bring my web browser over here, and we're just gonna look for I mean, honestly, we're probably going to find something that's like from a parkour video, because what I want to do is make a jump where somebody's crossing like a big gap. So instead of just like jumping up and down, we're going to like jump across a gap. But one thing about doing that as well is with video game animations, you can't do like the whole run into the jump. Like a player might be making the character run before they jump, but they also have to be able to jump from standing still. So it's going to be like not super believable on like a realism standpoint, but it should feel good when you try to make your character jump in a game. So let's see what we got here. This one's got some jumping. That's okay. I feel like this is a very boring jump. Obviously it's effective for being extremely accurate and not having to run into the jump first, but from an animation standpoint, I feel like that's not going to be incredibly interesting. So we're gonna set that one aside for now. It's kind of the same thing there. That guy's obviously using a wall, which we don't want. Cartwheel, nah. I'm probably going to end up finding something from YouTube. That's usually a better place for parkour videos. So what's this guy doing? Same kind of thing here. Gosh, everything is so showy, and I just Can I just have somebody jump across the gap? Okay, this is a little more interesting here. That's kind of cool. Like we'd probably want to tone this down a little bit. But what I like about this video reference is, for starters, he's taking off from like a running position, which I do like to do that even though your character might be able to jump from the idle position. I also don't think it's bad to like match your running position, because either the character could jump from a running position, or if they are in an idle before you press the jump button, the running pose can sort of act like an anticipation for that. But what I like about this here is I really like this line of action this guy gets when he takes off. And I like what his legs and arms are doing as he's flying through the air. And I think I like the first guy jumping better than the second guy. Yeah. The second guy is just... It's similar, but it's a little less interesting in my opinion. But yeah, I think... Okay, I'm going to download this comp, and we're going to see if there's anything else interesting here. Also, if any of you guys are like, oh, I know this really cool parkour video that has a jump in it, feel free to post a link in chat and I'll give it a look. Yeah, these are all kind of samey here. Oh, that'd be cool if you had a thing in your game that a character could grab onto. I kind of like that, but it seems very specific for what I'm aiming for right now. Ooh, look, old school parkour. That's great. It's the hipster of parkour there. Oh, booty. Yeah. That's not parkour. What is that? That's ridiculous. Nope, not good video reference for what we want to do. Some more cartwheels, although that would be a challenging thing to animate. So maybe we should do that at some point, but not a very effective jump. Woo! That's cool though. This guy is just doing a flip, yeah. And one note about using slow motion, which I think I mentioned in my walk cycle video, it's fine to use a slow-mo video for like really paying attention to the details of somebody's movements, but generally you also want to have a similar video that's in real time, unless you're very familiar with the type of animation that you're making, because that can really throw off the speed of your animation. What you could do also is take the video into a program and actually speed it up, and then you could have two versions of the same video, but you know, you'd want to make sure you were doing a pretty accurate job of speeding that up. Yeah, the thing about the flips is they're cool, but they're not really covering a very big distance most of the time. Yeah, see, like that, she just jumps off the railing and flips over, and it's like, well, it's not like a practical movement. How about this guy? Looks like he's actually going somewhere. Yeah, same kind of jump. Okay. So showy. Oh. What's he doing? Oh, we don't even get the beginning of this, huh? He's gonna do a roll at the end, which we don't want to animate a roll because it's not practical for video games. That's pretty cool though. Except it didn't even have the beginning on there. Alright, well I think we're probably just gonna go with the one I downloaded, because that kind of seems to be the only one that's really gonna be useful. It sucks because it's like not a very high quality. The guy is kind of far away from the camera, but I think we can make it work. Alright, so we'll get that out of here, and I'm gonna go find my video I just downloaded. Oh, and I also just realized I actually need to make a project because I opened the character directly just to sort of test her out, but I don't want to do that. I want to make a separate scene. All right, we'll do a reference. Okay, so I'm gonna like check out this rig real quick here. Alright, so it's got these nice little notes here. Face, hair, and neck animation controls are in here. Alright, yep, that makes sense. But it is weird that... Why does this have yellow channel box here? Is this not what I would... Ooh, that's terrifying. I suppose it's probably because her eyes are not... Yeah. Oh my gosh, I think I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. I've got a tickle in my nose. Alright, this is really weird that the channel box is yellow. I can't actually remember what that means, so I'm gonna go look it up real quick on Autodesk's site. Let's see. Channel box colors Maya. Let me bring this over here so you can see. Okay, so yellow, connected. What is it connected to? I don't like seeing these with a color on them when I'm like animating, because that usually means something is going to break. So select connection. Oh my god. What is this? Oh. Okay, well, that's annoying. I guess I'm just gonna animate on this and hope that it doesn't break, but I don't like that. I expect my channel box to basically look like this, where there's no colors in it before I start animating. And then, you know, obviously red means there's a key on there, but yeah, I'm not a fan of that, but I'm worried that if I break the connections, I might, like, ruin some blend shapes or something like that. Okay, well, let's take a look at what these other things are. FKIK switches and fingers visibility are in... Is it the same control? Face, neck, and hair. FKIK... This is really weird for them to put these controls in this head control. That's interesting. I don't see... Oh, is it this guy? Oh my god. This is weird. Okay, well, I'm glad that they put these little descriptions in here, because there's no way I would have figured this out on my own. It would have taken me a very long time. Okay. All the FK animation controls have head nodes to help prevent gimbal lock. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, is that what the connections are, I wonder? Toe lift indicates at what value roll will lift the toes. Toe straight indicates at what value roll will straighten the toes. Okay. Oh, yeah. That makes sense. So I think if I put this, like, right when it starts to switch here, I imagine if I change that, yeah, okay. That's kind of pointless. I don't really like that sort of stuff. I'm a person who likes simple over complicated, because the more you complicate things with stuff like that, the easier it is to screw things up and not be able to figure out what happened. Delete the help from the outliner when you don't need it anymore. Oof. I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. I might always need the help, but let's maybe we can just hide it. How about that? What? Where's my outliner? Why didn't it show up? Hello? Okay, that was weird. Anyway, where is the help? That's the question. Ah, there we go. Oh, I can't just hide it. Oh, show help. Don't need it. Cool. There. I don't like to delete stuff if I can help it, even if it's just things like that, because you never know where that might mess you up down the line. Okay, so I don't think this gal comes with any sort of picker. I'm gonna go check her folder real quick, like, if I can find it. Sam Yoga Room, what is this? That's weird. Oh. Okay. Just a screenshot thrown in there. Alright, sure. Yeah, alright. So she doesn't come with a picker or anything. That's fine. I usually will make my own buttons anyway. So on that note, let's go ahead and make ourselves a new shelf, and we'll call this Sam. So now what I like to do is come into my script editor here, and we'll clear this out. And I like to make myself some custom shelf buttons just so that I don't have to select everything, like hand pick it all the time. But let's see, we're gonna put her legs are in IK, her arms are in FK, that's all good. So for now, I'm just gonna start with I'm just gonna select all of this, but I'm gonna turn off the mesh so I don't select her mesh. And we're gonna deselect that guy. And this is just a very rudimentary script here. Call this select all. And if you want to get fancy, you can go in there and like make little icons for it so that they don't have just the default gray Maya button, but I'm not going to bother with that right now. That's why I just like to change the name of it so that if you hover over here, you can see down in the bottom left-hand corner that it says select all controls, so you know basically what that script does. And for now, well, we're just posing out. I think that's all I'm going to bother with. Oh, actually, yeah, screw it. All right. So, oh, weird. My Maya file decided to do some weird stuff with the naming. Okay. There we go. Now it will do it properly. Also, hello to you people watching. I see that there are some lurkers in here, but I'm just talking to myself so far. Hope you're enjoying it. Alright, let's grab ourselves this reference. Oh, hello, Stony Gaming. Thank you for saying something so that I know I'm not alone. I really like your pinata avatar. I love the colors in it. Hello, Tail. You guys don't have to talk. I was like, there are people in here, right? That's what my stream says. Okay. Alright, so we don't actually have any existing animation sets for this character, but we're gonna pretend like we have a run animation for her that we're going to base our pose off of. So, oh. And if you've watched my walk cycle workshop, one thing I talk about in there with the walks and the runs and sprints, whatever, you always want to have your first frame in the passing position with the same foot planted down on frame 1 in every single animation, because that's going to give you the best blends. And so I'm going to treat it as though we had that for this one too. And fortunately, I get to cheat a little with this. Potentially, if this was already an established game, maybe the first frame would be the left foot down instead of the right foot down. And then I'd have to like either I could just like reverse my reference video or just figure it out personally. But since we don't have that established, I'm just going to follow this video reference and we're going to start with her right foot in the passing position. This is going to be an interesting character to animate because she has ridiculously long legs. Oh, let's also see... Oh, interesting. Her shoulder controls are only translate, huh? Match... Oh, interesting. Okay, she's got some IK to FK matching. Okay. That could be useful. Let's give that a test out here, actually. Let's see how that works. So we'll pose this in FK. And then I assume if we switch, yep, so there's that. But then what happens if we match, I suppose it would be IK to FK? Yes. And now, that's weird. Huh. Well, okay. I don't know exactly what that's doing. It created these locators here. But... what on earth is this? I guess this is like... do I have to manually... So, like, I guess I could go grab this and grab this guy and probably do constrain point and constrain orient. I guess that's useful. I mean, it's really weird that that just like creates the locators, but if I do want to match IK and FK, I suppose that is more useful than having to create the locators myself. And then this one I could point constraint to this locator if I was actually trying to do that. That is really, really odd. I've never seen that before, but we could make that work if we needed to. Yeah, so I think basically this is just telling those locators to go to that spot, but it's just interesting to me that the rig won't actually match the IK or FK for you. That's really weird. Anyway, I like working on my shoulders usually in world space, because if I want to, you know, I want to be able to like do this kind of thing. And if it's in local space or like clavicle space, then if instead of doing this, it would be like your shoulders are gonna come up with it, and then you have to like counter animate like this, and then you're gonna have all sorts of like jiggly wobbly stuff, and that's no fun. So that's what I'm trying to figure out here. Global anim viz, we'll try that. Oh, that was unexpected. What is going on? Global anim viz. Huh. Where did I learn 3D animation? So I started off going to a school called Vancouver Institute of Media Arts up in British Columbia. And that was where I first learned how to do animation and like how to use Maya and stuff. I had kind of like played around with animation as a kid, like making flip books, and I had the Animator Survival Toolkit, which if you don't have that book and you want to learn animation, you should pick that up. And then after that, I did more training on iAnimate.net like a few years later. So I highly recommend iAnimate.net. That was like, it was so much better than my original school that I went to. But I think you do need to have some level of Maya skill and basic level of animation understanding to do iAnimate. Not like a huge amount, but they don't teach you how to use Maya. But like you can start with the bouncing ball and stuff if you take their first workshop, but they expect you to like know how to actually use Maya as an animation tool. So I'm not really sure what this... Oh, okay. That did work. I'm not sure what I did to make that work, though. What? What did I do? Excuse me. Oh, or I'm just dumb and that was what the default of this rig was. So I guess if you want to animate in shoulder space, good luck, because I don't know how we get to that. I do wish I could actually rotate her clavicles, though, because, I don't know, this feels a little awkward to me. I guess it kind of looks okay. It's not great, but, you know, free rigs, that's what you get, right? Alright. So her right arm will kind of be like that. Her arms are going to be sort of symmetrical here, but it's like her right arm will be on its way forward because she's going to take off with her left foot, and her left arm is on its way back because she's like mid stride. So we do want to change her hips here. And you know, I am realizing now I actually want her right leg to be in FK because it's gonna be off the ground the whole time until the very end. So let's see if we can figure out that. Probably this guy? Yes. Ah, okay. So now we gotta do this weird match thing. Yeah, that's... What? Oh, right. I'm trying to match FK to IK. Duh. This is so weird. Huh. Yeah, okay, so we would take this and say constrain, orient, apply. And now I guess we just want to key this, and then we have to go delete that constraint and then the foot. Like, I don't really care too much at this point because we're just working on the posing, but I just want to make sure I can figure out that tool. Is Ever6 asked, is this recording going to be uploaded on your channel? Yeah, for now I'm going to have streams available on my channel. In the future, I might just leave them as unlisted, but then have like a playlist available that you can click on. But for now, every one of these videos will be available post-stream. So if you ever want to like go back to a part, if I went too quickly somewhere, then yeah, you'll be able to go back to these videos, or you know, if you can't hang out here for the whole stream or something. Sorry guys, I probably should have gotten a little accustomed to this rig before this stream, but I just had a lot of things come up that I wasn't expecting, but you know, we can figure this out together. Unfortunately, I realize I need to add these FK controls to our little selection script. I could go in and make these all a lot prettier, these scripts, but for now I'm going to just paste them in here. But we do want to change this to toggle, because if we just say select -R, it's going to deselect everything else we have already selected. So hopefully I can just save that. And now if we click this button, yes, cool. It is including those, and I'll probably want to do that with the right leg at some point too, but how long do you need for a jump animation? I mean, it depends on like how simple your jump is. Like if you did want to do something like a flip or a roll in your jump, that's going to take a little bit longer because you got to make the body look nice as it's twisting and turning. A jump like this, it's pretty basic. If I'm like doing this for work and I'm not trying to talk and stream at the same time plus learn a new rig, I would say to make it look pretty nice from start to finish, it would take somewhere from 6 to 8 hours. But this being a stream, I don't know how long it's going to take me. Generally, when I'm working on games, though, in the studio, we don't get to fully polish our work till much later. So things like facial, we generally don't touch facial animation until the very end of like the project, when you get to go back to the polish stage. All right, I think I'm gonna deal with posing her fingers later. I know this is really annoying that she's got paddle hands, but honestly, I'm kind of terrified of these hands because they look questionably modeled. So I feel like I'm gonna have trouble actually making nice looking poses there. All right, we're definitely gonna come back to this pose, but let's go ahead and do like our takeoff pose. If we look at this guy here, and the reason why I didn't have her leaning back as much as this guy is because he's jumping up from the ground here onto a higher ledge. And so that's gonna change like the angle of his body. But if you look here, his torso is a lot more forward than back here. And so I was going for that. But this is because he's like kind of going up. All right, so I really like this pose right here. Yeah. All right, we're gonna try to work out that pose there. So this will probably be, we're gonna start with it being on frame 3. And you can always change this later. I like to actually work in stepped at this point. And the easiest way you can do that, you can go into your graph editor here and be like, oh, select my keys and click the step button. But the thing I don't like about that is then you have to like go in there and change it every time you want to preview. A really cool trick is if you go into your timeline here and you say enable stepped preview. And right now we only have one key, so I can't like show you what that does. But after we get a few more poses on here, I'll be able to show you why I like to do that versus the graph editor. Oops. All right, so up until this moment, I think we'll stay in IK with the right leg, but then after this, we'll switch it to FK. Because when your feet are not in contact with the ground, it's really a nightmare to try and make things look good in IK. And sorry for like the jarring zoom-ins that happen occasionally, but that's just because like sometimes my rotation gets weird in Maya and I have to do that to recenter my rotation axes for the camera. All right, so shoulders are gonna be up because she's gonna be reaching up. You know, I should check and see what the rotation axis is on this guy. YXZ. I always have a hard time wrapping my brain around what rotation order I want on the arms, so I just have to go in like this and actually give it a try. But you can really get into a messy situation if you have a difficult to use rotation axis. I think let's see, so, oh my god, why can't I wrap my brain around this? All right, so the first letter in your rotate order, if you rotate on that, all the axes stay the same. And then the last letter, all the axes move together with it. So like, as you can see, I rotate on Y and the X and the Z stay the same, but if I grab Z, the Y and the X are going to follow it. Yep, okay. I always have to remind myself of that. So I think what I want is my Y to be last. Oh. But it changed the actual... Huh. That is not expected. Why did it do that? Like, I just expected the rotation order to change, not the actual... Oh man, that's so weird. Inherits transform. Let's maybe... Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Let's definitely leave that checked. This could work, I guess. XYZ is probably better than YXZ. I would probably prefer ZXY, but it doesn't look like it wants me to do that. It changes. Oh, that's so weird. I don't know why it's doing that. I've never seen a rig do that before. And this is the problem. When you get all this like really complicated stuff, it can be a pain to try and figure these things out. So at some point, I'd like to get into doing like some basic scripting and be able to modify rigs and like share that with you guys. But that's gonna be down the line a little bit. So you can animate in object mode, which means you can just like move the arm in any way whatsoever. I do that sometimes, but I do also like to check and make sure my keys aren't doing anything too crazy. So like you can see right here, there's probably going to be a flip going on. And this is the other reason I like to work in enabled step preview, because you can very easily toggle this off to see what your arm is going to do. So the interpolation between these two poses is not good, because I would want her arms to come forward like this instead of it's like kind of going out and up. But I'm not going to worry about that for now. Because it's only a few frames, I might just end up hand keying those and use some motion trails to make sure that it looks nice, but it is just kind of a little annoying. All right, let's make her line of action look a little better here. So we probably want to change this arm to the same rotation order. I already forgot what it was. Was that XYZ? Yep, okay. Yay! Woo! Hey guys! She's so lanky. Ugh, that shoulder deformation though. Oh, that's rough. That's really rough. Shoulders. Shoulders are like the bane of my existence when it comes to making good looking poses, especially in games, because you tend to not have blend shapes. And so it's really hard to rig shoulders to look good, because you have, you know, your clavicle here and then your shoulders lifting up from there, but it's also rotating in the socket at the same time. And like this kind of motion is really hard to rig and skin and make it look good. I think like the best way to do it would be to have like an actual extra clavicle joint, because you know your actual bone structure, this is not just one bone here, it's like three, I don't know how many bones, but it's got like, it's three-dimensional. So it rotates weird. There. Those are the technical terms. All right, we definitely need her foot to come forward a little bit here, because she's got to use that power to take off from the ground, which means we're going to rotate her hips as well. I actually really like the fact that I can rotate these hips and her FK leg isn't moving. I'm surprised by that, honestly. because that's pretty common in a rig that you would actually be rotating this leg at the same time. What is this guy? Oh, that's the IKFK thing, so I think I can turn that off just so we don't see it. Hide. It's weird that that's putting a key on there, but whatever. We're just gonna pretend that's not a thing for now. Alright, so you can see already just from rotating her hips a bit, now this back leg is very bent again. Oh my god. Our legs are so long, guys. What is this? Have you ever seen those? There's like some artist that was creating realistic looking 3D models of cartoon characters like Homer Simpson, and it's like, oh, this is what the person would look like in real life, and it was super duper terrifying. And that's how I feel about this character, is if you actually encountered a person in real life that had the proportions that this girl has, you would quickly run the other direction. Or I don't know, maybe you'd stand there and stare. I won't judge you. Alright, so her torso is pretty much gonna be forward like this, but just her hips for now are gonna be rotated. How do you turn auto keying on? That's a great question. It is this little button down here in the right-hand corner. Oh, hang on. My camera is covering that up, isn't it? So I think I can just move this. I think this works. I've never actually tried to move my camera while streaming. So down here in the bottom right-hand corner, you can click on this little guy right here. And if you see in the bottom left-hand corner, that's like what tells you your tooltip of what you're hovering over. So you can see when I hover over this, it says auto keyframe toggle. So you can turn that on, and you still have to save a key on every control somewhere in your timeline. It will not auto key unless a control already has a key on it, so just keep that in mind. And I'll put myself back down there. Ooh. Oh yeah, there you go. Ever6 helped out. Thank you, Ever. Oh no, did I? Oh, duh. So you'll probably see me changing between orthographic and perspective view too. I do like to kind of just check out what things are looking like from an orthographic view. For instance, I wouldn't want her arms to be like super perfectly symmetrical here, because then it would just sort of look like she has one arm. So doing stuff like slightly offsetting things is really going to help your animation feel a lot more organic. It also help your animation feel more organic to not have paddle hands, but you know, can't have everything. Alright, so let's get our next pose here. Oh my god, this is so dramatic. I guess I haven't decided how far she's moving. So that's one thing to think about. If you're working on a game project, you have a set distance that a character is going to be moving in anything, whether it's a walk, a run, a jump, a climb, whatever. So you'd always want to check in with your designers to see what that distance is. Now, because this isn't officially for a game, I don't have that parameter, but, you know, I suppose it would be good practice for me to just make that up myself. So, Oh, wow. Are we not in meters right now? What are we in? Yeah, we're not in meters. Okay. First of all, I want to change that to meters because... Oh my god. Alright. So that's less than ideal. That is just some locators. Can we do that? Alright. I like to do meters because in almost every case with game animation, your character is going to be moving in meters. I don't think the unit distance matters at all if you're doing like just something personal or for a film, because it's not about the actual distance. It's just relative to what else is in the scene, right? But for games, generally you're going to be in a unit of meters. It shouldn't mess up your animation though. All it does is like change the values. The only time that's going to mess up your animations is if like you had a, say, studio library, the posing tool, the third-party posing tool. If you had any poses or animations saved in there when your scene was set to centimeters, that is going to be all messed up once you change it to meters. So the best way to get around that is to temporarily set your scene to centimeters, use the pose, change it to meters, and then resave the pose with the new values. Stony Gaming says, can you do your reference in background? You mean like in my Maya scene? You can. So I think the easiest way to do that, if I recall correctly, would be to create a plane. And so what you could do here, or wait, actually, oh my god, there is a way to do this. So you can create an image plane, essentially. I think you need to do it from a camera though. Ugh, turn off my mesh selection here. So I think I'm not gonna like officially do this because I have my reference on another monitor. But what you can do is you can create an image plane in your camera, and then if you go into your settings and it shows up in your attribute editor over here, there will be a spot where you can add a video as a reference in there. Are you doing only game animation or for films? Right now, I'm focusing on game animation just because I feel like since that was something I was really talking about on my channel, that I should kind of demonstrate a couple of different game animations. I'm certainly not opposed to doing more film-like stuff where we have an acting scene. I love doing acting and dialogue, so I would like to do that at some point. Maybe the next workshop, once this streaming series is over, we can do a dialogue piece if that's something people would like to see. All right, so I'm going to just at frame 30 here. We're gonna say, oh, okay. First of all, let's just go ahead and yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and change this leg to FK. And we gotta do this weird thing. I could probably make a script for this, but I should probably do, oh god. That didn't work. Ah, this is why I need this one with this one. No, that didn't work either. Well, that's cool. Is it this one? No, that's what I just used. Well, that's really obnoxious. I wish this actually had good matching. I can do it myself the way that this rig creator was doing it. but it would just be easier if I had a script for it. So I might do that later when you guys don't have to bother watching me. Is game and film the same? That's a good question. There are a lot of similarities. Most of the animation principles apply to both games and film. The only time that isn't always the case is anticipation. In video games, depending on what you're working on, like if you're working on cinematics, then it's just very similar to film. But in the case of gameplay like we're doing here, you don't have time for anticipation because the important thing is to make the game feel good to the player. So unfortunately, you have to like shave off the anticipation, and you'll usually like fake it with one extreme pose before the action that happens. I tried it today. I noticed it's easier to use image plane in front view and add .mov or images. I did the .mov today. Yeah. Did you just do that in your, like through your camera then? Or did you make like a polygon plane? I think I've only ever done it with the camera view. But I think you could technically add like an animated texture to something. I don't know. Don't take my word for that, but okay, so her jump, let's have her go. Let's just see what like This is a pretty big jump. So we're gonna maybe go, does 5 meters sound good? Huh. That might be a little far, actually. But, like, that's the other thing in a video game. When a character is jumping or climbing across something, they might be, like, a little unrealistic with how far they go based on, like, the amount of effort that it looks like they put into it. Same with, like, running. Generally, your video game characters are actually running at a speed that is much faster than a normal person would be able to run, or at least keep it up for a long time. We will do that because her legs are so long and lanky, this might actually be a distance that will work okay. So we'll leave that there. But what I do want is to make this linear for now. Because when the character is moving through the air, they're not going to be speeding up and slowing down. They're either going to be constant or they're going to have a very slight slowdown as gravity and wind resistance takes hold. But you never want your character to speed up ever after they take off the ground unless they have like rocket boots or something like that, which is not something I've encountered before in the projects I've worked on. But all right, we'll turn step view back on, and this is what I'm talking about. So like, you know, if I don't have step preview on, then my character is doing this weird floaty thing, and it's distracting to me. It's information that I don't need to see. But if I'm wanting to go into a pose where she's partway through the air, like I'm about to do, I do still want to get this information of how far she's moved, because if I have step preview on and I key her here, she is going to lose that motion, and see how it changed my Z, and now she's suddenly not moving in the air. So I like to turn my step preview on and off just to kind of get a basic in between for, oops, see, now I messed it up. I'm just gonna delete that key there. I went in perspective and it came in huge, so I last tried in front view and I was able to resize it in perspective view. Yeah, like, I mean, that's the thing with perspective view is, like, for instance, you know, if you do, say this, if you want to do like interactive creation on creating a polygon, it's like, oh, I'm clicking and dragging, but because you're in perspective view, you don't actually know how big that is or where it's at. It's like, oh, okay, it's over here. Whereas if you go into front view and you do the same thing, you know exactly where that is because it cannot be past your 0 in the z-axis, because that's the point of the perspective, right? Is like, oh, you can't move it on the z-axis in your orthographic view. So same with your right view here. If you created a polygon on this side, it's not going to be to the left of the axis there. So yeah, that makes sense that you were having trouble with it in perspective. Sorry, itchy nose. What is up with my nose? Allergies going crazy. Okay, let's get this super fun flying through the air pose in here now. Okay, so the other thing I like to work out pretty quickly in a jump is like the Y motion. So and this is where even something like a bouncing ball practice comes in, or your character is going to accelerate as they're taking off, and then they're going to slow down as they reach their peak, and then start coming down and then come down quickly. So it's just like a bouncing ball, but this is a human and they're jumping in the air. And so that's why it's like really important for people to understand the fundamentals of the bouncing ball before going into more complicated things like this. And one way I really like to preview this stuff is by turning on my motion trails. So if I go to visualize, create editable motion trail, and we'll have our time slider, increment, yes, always draw, and we'll apply that there. And so now you can see like, oh yeah, that's not a very good motion that she's doing, right? Also, I want to figure out what keyframe I want her to go on here. I'm gonna take a look at my video reference again. I don't always like match the timing of the video reference, but I do use it as like a starting point. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll do that for starters. So frame 8 here. Yeah, so I don't think she's moving fast enough. She does feel kind of slow right now, but we'll take care of that in a minute here. Yeah, let's go ahead, and she's gonna finish her jump pretty quickly, so we'll just scoot this guy a little earlier. Whoops. And having the motion trail active at all times can really lag your Maya like this. I don't know why I did that. I said I wanted her to move 5 meters, so why did I change that, guys? I don't know. Let's see. I think that will be an appropriate speed for her. Whoops. So let's bring her Y back down here. I'm just going to key that. Let's see, what was this? Let's just copy and paste that value there. I wish I had a bigger monitor. This is like, I need a 4K monitor so that I can make my graph editor big, but you guys can still see everything on the same screen. All right, so we want to add now. Okay, let me just explain this real quick. I know some animators that like to. Oh, what did I just do? Oh, did I just? That's weird. I didn't mean to bake that. So I know a lot of people that like to go in here and say, let's see, where is it? Curves. Weighted tangents? Yeah. So I know a lot of people that like to work this way, where they can stretch their curves in and out like this to get that like hang time for their characters. I tend to not like to work with weighted keys anymore. I used to back like in my first few years of animation, but the reason why I like to do non-weighted where you can't I'm like trying to drag this out and I can't change the length of these handles here. The reason why I like to work in non-weighted tangents is just because I have 100% control over what's going to happen. And so what I would do then is I would just, to get this hang time, I'm going to put in another key here for it. And I'm probably going to have to turn off my motion trail because this is really laggy. But this is how I would do that. Okay. What I'm gonna do here is we're just gonna change the motion trail to only draw when selected. And, oops, I have to select the object first. Now when I go in, oops, did I make that on the wrong? I think I made that on the wrong control. I think that was on her hips instead of her cog. Maybe not. Well, anyway, do it again, I guess. So now if I move her... Oh, maybe not. What the heck? What I thought was going to happen is that the motion trail would only update when I actually selected the motion trail, but maybe it's when I select the object. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it will only draw... I think there's another setting that I should have used. Okay, let's try this again. Visualize. Create editable motion trail. Huh. I could have sworn there was an option where I could... like not have it update the motion trail unless I clicked on the motion trail itself, but maybe it really was just the object. Oh well. All right, I'm just gonna deal with a laggy computer, I guess. Yay! Oh my god. Okay, this is really bad right now. What have I done? Whoa. Alright, and so the reason why this happened, where she just went up and not forward, is because I didn't actually save a key. It's only going to show you the stepped version of something that you have the key on. So, you know what, we're gonna deal with the height and the distance later. For now, I'm just gonna work on my posing, and we're not gonna worry about the motion trail. So we're just gonna get this nice little pose in here. Her arms are straightening out a bit more. Whoops, not that straight. Ugh, that's so gross. Alright, I'm just gonna zero this out. Oh, is this because I... Nope, it's not why. I mean, I have a fun time dealing with that interpolation later, so yay! The fun thing that only animators understand is that, and that we all understand, is your animation looks really bad every time you start a new animation. Like, what is this? What is this nonsense I'm making here right now? It always looks so bad until you massage it and you're getting into that final, like, stage. It can be right up until the very end that it actually looks really bad, and then you do, like, one little magic thing and suddenly your animation looks really good. Alright, we are gonna rotate her hips a little like so, and maybe rotate her forward a little more. Yeah, these shoulders aren't pretty. Not pretty at all. I think I actually want to make her look down a little so that she's scoping out her landing spot. Oh, weird. Looks like I have a key in the wrong spot here. Okay, so our next key pose, we're gonna want probably... We definitely want this landing pose, the contact pose. We might want something in between, but for now, I'm just gonna go straight to this contact pose here. Cause like we will want this nice little, oh, the other foot comes forward, but for now, I'm just trying to get like enough poses to tell the story about what's happening in this animation. Yeah, so I think this key needs to be a lot earlier here. I tend to do a lot of retiming after I have my blocking finished, because it never quite works out the way that I think in the beginning. Let's see. All right, so what I'm gonna do here, if I were animating this jump to be used for crossing a gap in a video game, she's going to start in her run pose and end in her run pose. So this guy, you can see, he like pops off and keeps running. So we're gonna like fake this a little bit. And here's what I'm talking about, like where if you're doing film or television, you're probably going to actually follow these physics a lot more of like how you can see this guy, he's kind of like pushing off, and like look at that pose down here. It's like he's almost gonna just fall over and break his knees, but then just goes right into a running motion here. So instead of that little bit, we're just gonna have it like she lands like he does, sort of, and then pops up into like this running pose here, like we had at the beginning of the video. So that's my goal for that. So that was her right foot forward. And yeah, that seems good, because like, so she'll hit the ground with her left foot first, because she needs to contact the ground with both of her feet if she's like jumping this far. It'd be kind of weird if your character only touched the ground with one foot after taking that big of a jump. So she'll touch the ground with her left foot first, and then her right foot will follow up, and she'll go into her run pose after that. Whoopsies. And she's not going to want to land on her heels like this, because if you jump and you land on your heels, that's a good way to break your leg. So she's going to kind of land on like the ball / flat of her foot, which means when we go in to actually make this all look proper, we're going to switch to IK here. But for now, I'm just going to leave it in FK until we get like the basic timing down a little better. And the beautiful part about this pose here is her arms are now going to have swung behind her. Now, I like to zero the arms out first before posing them in an extreme difference, because you can very easily overdo your gimbal rotations and get some crazy results, which is why it's also good to go back and forth between stepped and spline to make sure everything is looking right. And we'll make sure she's looking down at the ground where she landed. Not like, you don't want your character to look at their feet, because they're kind of like looking forward, always checking out where they're going. But she is going to glance down a little bit here. And I think if I want to rotate her neck, I have to turn that on, don't I? Yes. That also means that her neck won't already have a key on it. So we'll save that back here. Oh. That's... Does this rig want me to translate her head instead of rotate it from her chest? That's annoying. Cool. Well... So... Ugh. I don't like that. I don't like that at all, because unless you're trying to do some like sort of body isolation animation, you know, where people are doing this, I know I can't really do it, it's really bad, but unless they're trying to do that, like your head doesn't translate back and forth, and so the fact that I can't pivot it from down here is really ridiculous. I don't know if there's just something I'm missing here. That probably just changed it to a different space. Oh. Oh, okay. It was in world space. I didn't realize that, but still, it doesn't really help me. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to deal on this. And this is where, like, when I talked about in my games versus film video, it's really nice to work on a small team where you're working very closely with the technical animators, because if you have issues with the rigs like this, you can talk to the person who made it, and often if like you're on a good cooperative team, they'll be able to either change the rig for you or make a tool that will help you get it to do what you want it to do. Which I'm very fortunate that I am currently at a place like that right now, and our tech artist is, or a tech animator is very accommodating. I'm sure the same thing can happen in films too, but generally, like, you know, if you're at a bigger studio and there's like 30 animators, they're probably not going to tailor to every single animator. You're just gonna have to deal with what you got. All right, well, for starters here, she's not actually touching the ground. That would be useful. Oh, I lost her nice little takeoff, didn't I? Because her leg is in... I was like, wait, why does this look so bad? I bet if we just go... Yeah, there we go. Huzzah. That's better. So we can see what our run is looking like, or our jump, rather, is looking like so far. It's working. It's nothing special yet. It's a little bit boring at the moment till I get a few breakdowns added in, but I just want to get the overall story to be told before I start doing that. So let's see, after she lands here. Okay, so with follow through in games, this is an opportunity where I didn't get to give her much of an anticipation, but on the landing, depending on the game, you can have a nice like settle animation or follow through animation. This is going directly into a run, so it's not going to be like a jumping and then completely settling into a standing idle. But what you can do with that stuff is like you can have a settle in a lot of these animations, and you just have to keep in mind that in most cases that portion of the animation is going to be interruptible by the player. So your character might just like pop out of your settle animation if the player inputs another command before that animation finishes playing. So when you are doing a settling animation, you can do some nice little flourishes there, but you just have to keep in mind that at any point your character is going to have to snap into another animation. So you still don't want to stray like too far away from what your idle poses or your run poses are. And it does look weird when you play a game and you see an animation get interrupted, but honestly, like if you think about games that you've played, and like that kind of thing happens all of the time when you're playing a game, and in general I would say it never bothers me, because I think I would be more bothered by my character being too realistic for reasons that I was saying, where your reaction time is going to be really slow of your input, and that's no good. So there's definitely a lot of things that gamers are willing to, you know, suspend their disbelief on. For instance, another thing is like clipping in games. Like if your character clips a little bit through an object on their way down from a jump, or if they have cloth that is clipping through their arm, it's like, it's not great, but people are generally much more accepting of that in a video game than they are in, say, like a Pixar film or something, right? But then, you know, you also don't want to go to the extreme of Mass Effect Andromeda or basically any Bethesda game, because that's not cool. I have problems with those. I don't like it. No, 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 no. Alright, so we'll give her running pose here, and what I can do, hopefully, is... Wait, actually, first I'm gonna do this nice little... settle that this guy does here. I like this little down and then up thing. So we'll give her a little squat before she goes into her running position. Which means it's time to put the legs back on IK. For now, I'm not going to deal with matching these. Oh god. Oh my. Just gonna bring you here. Zero out this rotation. Ooh. Take care of that pull vector too. Where'd he go? There you are. Doo-doo. All better. Make sure this foot is actually on the ground. And same with this other foot here. Yeah. So now, honestly, if I'm just realizing, and because I'm trying to, like, you know, think about this animation within the parameters of gameplay, I said that I wanted her to move 5 meters, which means at the end of the animation where she is in her run pose again, that means her cog should be exactly 5 meters forward from where it started. So we might actually have her landing spot be a little bit sooner, like her feet back a little more. But let's check this out here. So what I want to do is figure out where my last frame is probably going to be something like frame 26, and I'm just going to save a key here, and then what we'll do is basically, this is one of the tricks I talked about in my graph editor video. We'll just go in here and we'll say plus equals 5 to get that cog position. And then we can do the same thing for both of these. And we'll grab translate Z and say plus equals 5. Whoops. I'm a dummy. I did the keyframe slot instead of the value, or the value. Wait, what did I do now? Plus equals 5. There. That's what we wanted. Okay, so this should look the same, right? Oops, except she'll just be... Yeah, so looks like we got the same pose here. Which means now we have, yeah, so we can see we made her go a little bit too far forward. Generally in your game, your distance is going to be determined by how far the root moves, and you always want to have the roots be in the same relative position to the cog on the character at the beginning and end of each animation. So hopefully what your game would have is a control, not this control, but another internal control that would, you would be able to animate it and keep it underneath her cog so that, like, your collision capsule in your game could know at all times where she's at. And then your very last frame should be exactly 5 meters from where you started, or whatever the distance is that you've been given in your game. So we're gonna pretend, again, this is a lot of pretending, I apologize. I think maybe at some point I will get into figuring out how to just bring some characters into Unity, and I can show you guys how to use that and test out your animations, because Unity is free to use. But that will be a little ways down the road. Ow. Make sure when you drink from a glass of water that you actually, you know, reach your mouth and not your teeth. Okay. Ah, that really hurt, actually. Alright, yeah, so that's... We're gonna want to shift this back quite a lot here. So let's grab these here. And... You could use a tool to, you know, make this all matchy-matchy, perfect and everything, but I'm just going to do this manually for now. Oh, I guess both of these were in IK. I didn't realize that. I thought the right foot was still in FK. Come on. Ah. Alright, that's close enough. It's not perfect, but it'll do. Let's fix this curve here. She's still gonna be... Her cog is still gonna be moving forward at a relatively similar speed as she lands, unless she's like say she's hitting something in front of her, then it would come to a pretty quick stop. But since she's just trying to ease into her settle, we want the translate Z to be a nice easy curve like this. So otherwise if you do this, then it's gonna be like, and it's gonna look really weird. So, and then we can probably just delete this key in the middle because she should be moving at a relatively constant speed. And then now we can maybe go in and fix her Y translation as well. Let's see what this is looking like. Oh my gosh, what happened? Wait, did we lose her? Oh, I'm a dummy. I deleted this key, which means, oh. Which means it's not gonna show up in our step preview very well. So there we go. That's better. So I'm just gonna check and see what this looks like in Spline. I know it's gonna look really bad, but I'm just trying to get a better judge of her speed here. I think that's gonna work okay. Part of the reason why that looked so wonky is because I switched her legs from IK to FK a few times, and the graph editor is interpolating those keys, which I definitely don't want it to do. You never want to let your Maya interpolate your IK-FK switching. It's always better to use some sort of matching, whether that's through a built-in tool or by doing it on your own with like locators and constraints, which is probably what we're gonna do. But we will deal with that later because right now that's not important. So before she takes off here, I am going to want to add one anticipation frame, but we'll worry about that later. All right, I'm just going to try to ignore the ugliness of her IK-FK switching, and we're going to go back to using, you know what I should just do, because it would honestly be less distracting than the interpolation is. We're just going to switch those. Oh, God. Nope, that was bad, too. Let's see. You should switch we'll just move that key there. Ugh. So annoying, guys. Alright, I'm just gonna do a really manual line up here. It's not gonna be perfect, but it's driving me crazy. My God, so bad. All right, I really only care about the part of her going through the air. So you can see right now the arc is a little weird because it's almost as though she's like picking up like speed going up rather than the quick speed that she's supposed to be doing. So let me show you what I mean. We'll go ahead and visualize, create editable motion trail, and yeah, so this is exactly what I'm talking about here. This doesn't make sense. This motion, the fact that she's going up quicker at the end of this peak doesn't make sense. What we want is for her to start out going up fast. So also her peak moment is probably a little too early. We're gonna have her go down first. And then she'll pop up from here. Again, maybe still a little too late on that peak spot there. And then as she hits the ground, we'll also change this. That's better. Now she might be going up a little too high. This is more of a forward jump than... Yeah, I think just a little too high. The spinning wheel of death. Oh, I really shouldn't change these frames yet because it's gonna mess up my step preview. So let's see here. What I'm gonna do is, what happened to this pose? I thought we had a better pose than this. Did we mess up this pose? What happened? What happened to your leg, miss? Oh no. Did I delete the keys off of you? Or did we animate that in IK? No? I don't think I had ever saved keys on this. See, there you go. That's where the problem comes in with the auto key tool. Make sure that you always have a key saved before you expect the pose to be saved. All right. Well, let's go ahead and add that actually. We're gonna do it in our script editor first. Whoops. Okay, so you, and you. Copy that. And oh, look at that. I missed a control before in here too. Select toggle. So what was I missing? Yes, the toe. I'm just gonna copy and paste this. You also don't have to do the select toggle every time either. You can just put them in a line like it is up here, but I'm just being a lazy paisy and not dealing with that right now. But I do want to put this in order, so I'm gonna paste that here, and we'll just change this to left toe. Was that the only letter that was different? I think so. Cool. Ooh. Might be time for me to get up and stretch soon. I've been sitting for a little while. Alright, save our shelf. That's better. Except I already forgot. I think it's this key that we want everything saved on. Yes. And then we'll just go ahead and delete that one so that we don't mess up our stepped preview. Oh no. It's all sorts of messed up now. Alright, well, we're gonna have a little bit to fix here, but in any case, I think we're done with this curve for now. That's right. Now we have this keyframe here, which isn't the best depiction, so I'm just gonna... It won't be hard to replace that later, so we'll just deal with that another time. Oh, weird. Why are you the way that you are, Mr. Key? Does that... Oh yeah, I guess we did have that in FK for making this pose. And then this one, what happened? Oh, this was, again, because we didn't save our keys. Damn it. Close enough. What's important is our first and last pose for matching up our keys there. So it should, like, if we look at this in the front view where we can't actually see the Z translate, it should line up. Yep, see? It's seamlessly looping from that direction. It looks terrible, but it's looping. For starters, she needs to be actually having her weight centered over her left leg when she lands, but we're in FK, aren't we? Yeah. Poopers. Okay. Let me get in this pose here that I wanted to do oh so long ago, and then we'll deal with matching up these legs a little better. So just a reminder, we're trying to get this little squat pose right here. And her feet aren't going to be, like, perfectly lined up. Actually, we are going to make this a little better, though. I don't want her feet to be, like, perfectly symmetrical, like it kind of looks like his are. Part of that is because he's landing on a very narrow ledge, and just, like, our character is landing on a flat surface. But also, just, like, from it being a more interesting pose, we don't want them to be perfectly symmetrical. Alright, let's make her super squat. We're gonna give her just a little bit of a foot roll here to make it look like she landed more on her toes. And then now that we're in, oh man, she is falling over there. Make sure her weight is centered. And her hips are probably going to be a little more square on right now. Just ever so slightly not quite symmetrical. And we want this nice bend in her torso that we're seeing in our video reference. I guess she's still kind of looking up a little bit here. Ah! Why do I have to translate it, guys? This is why I don't want to translate her head. What is that? Oh, that's terrifying. It would help if we animate an object, but that's still not great. Oh, like, that is going to be a real pain in the butt to work with when we go into splining. So honestly, probably what I'm going to do is use a locator. I'm going to like hack the rig a bit and use a locator to essentially rotate her head from the spot that I want to, and then we'll bake down the animation and it will figure out what the translation should be for us. That will be in a future video when we get to more of a polished stage, because I'm not going to worry about that right now. But that'll be a fun little thing to try. Be right back in an hour. Alright, sorry. Sorry if I missed you. See you later, Ever6. I will hopefully see you soon. Thank you for watching, though. It's been fun. Again, I'm zeroing out these rotations before I pose her, just so that I can avoid some super crazy gimbal issues. I do not remember translating her chest to the side, but I must have inadvertently done so. Let's see, her chest would be slightly rotated, perhaps, just to add a little bit of organicness and imperfection to her. And then, as I said, we don't want our arms to be exactly the same. Like, you'll hear people talk about twinning a lot, which is like basically, oh, well, that's not twinning. My arms are doing the exact same thing all the time, and they're very symmetrical. Hands on hip is a very common one. Twinning in and of itself isn't inherently bad. It's definitely okay to have somewhat symmetrical poses. Like, if you want your character to be like, whatever, how are you? Like, it's gonna be weird if you're just like, whatever. That's not right. Like, you want to see this pose, right? But the important thing to do is to sort of like offset it a little bit, like make one hand slightly higher than the other, and like maybe my head is tilted and maybe my shoulder, like one shoulder is up higher than the other one. So twinning as a concept isn't always a bad thing, but just make sure you add some little level of organic detail in there. Alright, I already forgot what I was doing here. Let's check her from the side. God, her legs are so weird. She should be more in like a chair squat position here. So one thing that's a little tricky here when going into, say, a running pose. This is one of those things where it's like not gonna look as nice, right? It does seem odd that she's just picking up her foot like so. But we've got to match this pose here. For one thing, I think she's leaning forward a little too much in her run pose. Like, she can be translated forward, but maybe not leaning forward as much. Of course, now I've like messed up my first pose here. And it's just, I'm doing a little bit of cheating here, because if you did this and you're like changing the pose that you're matching to, like, you can do that, but then that also means you're going to have to change every other animation that uses that pose. So it's generally not a thing that you do very often, but it does happen where it's like, oh, once you start animating a character more, you're like, wow, this pose isn't good, and maybe it would be worth going back through and changing all the other poses. But like I said, I'm cheating a little bit because we are not actually matching any sort of official animation for this. So let's go ahead and save that pose, and then we can just do the opposite trick that we did before. We'll grab Translate Z and do -=5. Now, as you can see, it's not actually at 0 after I'm doing that, and that's totally okay, just as long as it stays in relation to whatever your root motion control is, and you make sure that like it's where it ends up is exactly 5 units after where it started. It's still a little weird, unfortunately, but since we're trying to do this for a game jump, that's kind of what you end up with. I suppose we could do... we could push this a little more and have her... I guess maybe I was trying to do this originally. By offsetting her feet a little more than this. It might look a little bit better when we blend it. Now you have to keep in mind that you have an exact amount that your character is supposed to move forward, but you also want to make sure you know what the gap is. Say this is a character that the landing animation is them like grabbing onto a ledge and pulling themselves up or something, or like doing a little like, oh, I'm unbalanced, I might fall over backwards. Like, it totally depends on the game. Then you're not going to be able to do what I'm doing here, where I'm like modifying her landing position a little bit. The way that I'm approaching this is in a game where your character is moving in like segments. Like, say you have a game where you have specific squares where each square is like 2 meters wide and then your character is in the center of that or something like that, then your environment is also going to be lined up to those boxes. So if her box was like here and here, then it's like as long as she doesn't land outside of her box, the environment's edge is not going to be very close to her feet. So that's the way I'm approaching this right now. But again, it totally depends on the project that you're working on. So that'll make it look a little better. Like, it's still kind of weird. But and maybe we will do more of a, like, she's landing on one foot kind of thing. And then going into a run. Like, back here, we could have her foot. Maybe she's not quite there yet with her other leg or something. We'll play around with it. Oh, and looky there. I didn't save a key on this other spot. Oh, that's okay. It goes into IK. So we can, we'll play around with it. We can get away with it. Again, if you're just doing this for your own personal demo reel, do not be concerned about what I'm doing right now. This is strictly like, you only have to worry about these things if you're actually working on a game. And if you're just trying to get a job at a game studio, do not worry about this specific thing that I'm doing right now. I'm doing this to show you, in case you haven't had a job at a game studio before, this is what you should expect. These are the accommodations that you're going to have to make for your animation, the compromises, I guess. And so, do whatever you need to do to make your demo reel look really pretty. But then if somebody asks you about, like, oh, well, your jumping animation here, like, oh, they did like a tuck and roll at the end. That's really cool. But like, where do you see that working in a game? Chances are it's not going to work in a game unless you have some sort of like cutscene thing, or your character is being taken over by the game, like happens in a lot of games like The Last of Us or something like that. Chances are you're not going to be able to do a tuck and a roll in a jump for a game. And so you would just mention that. You'd be like, well, I did that because I thought it'd be a fun challenge to figure that out, but I totally understand that in a game you have these parameters that you have to follow. So I would have done something different with the landing if that was the case. Just keep it in mind is all I'm saying. Alright, that's not looking too bad. Let's check it from the front here. Oh yeah, I still need to get her landing with the weight over the appropriate foot and taking off and all that kind of stuff. Whoopsies, that's not what I meant to do. Oh no, my textures. Always remember to look at your animation from multiple angles if you're working in video games. I mean, it is also a good thing if you're working in films or television too, because you can have weird rendering artifacts that show up if like your character was like super far off to the side, but you didn't know it from the camera view. You could get some like really weird shadows happening. So it's just kind of good practice. But, if you're animating in a film and your camera comes down to here, it's like you might sort of mock out where the legs are going to go, because it's really obvious to me when I see somebody animate like a dialogue piece where they're only showing the waist up. I can tell if someone is just like, oh yeah, I'm going to move the waist around to sort of emulate this movement. No, there's like a lot of stuff that you get out of from like the torso, from the character walking around. So while you don't have to worry about, like, say, planting the feet or making sure your knees don't pop or anything like that, you still want to actually place the foot where you think the foot would be and center the character's center of gravity over that foot and make sure they seem on balance, because it will show through the rest of your character. If you have like a close-up headshot, maybe that's not true, But in that case, you're still going to want to animate the torso properly because the torso also affects the head. So just, you know, some things to think about. So many things to think about in animation, guys. All right, this is looking okay, I think. Let's take a look at it in not stepped preview. It's, oh god. Okay, so obviously not good, but all I'm doing right now is making sure I like the timing of the jump. And I think it's working out okay. I think it'll be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. Okay. So that being said, I do want to maybe go in now and match up my keys on my legs just so that I don't have to deal with this garbage. For starters, yep, just as I thought. Her weight isn't quite over that right foot. I guess I didn't quite do that properly. Because she's in a running position here, want to rotate it up a little bit. And once again, gonna have to save my key here, but instead of saving translate Z, because I didn't change that, I'm just gonna go over here and key my X. I suppose I could have done the little hotkey I in my graph editor too, but alright, so this pose, I think I do actually still want her leg to be in FK4, or sorry, IK. Just until her foot is like officially off the ground. And let's do a little bit of a roll. There's also a stretch in this, isn't there? Let's see what the stretch looks like. Well, that didn't really do anything, did it? Well, fancy that. How about now? We'll do it now? No? Cool. Is it in here? No? Weird. Okay. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. Ah! I'm trying to... So, yeah, there we go. Well, shoot. This isn't... I want her... This is what I'm talking about when rigs get super obnoxious. I want her foot to be bent here. So, like... like this, but rotated forward. Oh my gosh. Toe spin? No. Toe wiggle. Oh, really? It's just one or the other? I can't... Oh, is this why? Oh my god, you guys, I'm dumb. Alright, so that's a thing to note. When you are working in stepped preview, stuff like this, these set-driven keys, are not usually going to give you a very good representation of what's going on. So... see, like, what I want to do here is this. But I want to keep her toe bent. This is really annoying. Yeah, but I don't want to have to do all this counter animating, guys. All right, screw it. We're just gonna put her leg in FK here. So, like, if her foot was rotated. Ugh, God, I hate this. This isn't, no, this isn't what I want. No! Why is that? Why is it moving? What's happening here, guys? I'm trying to tell it to stay. Oh my God, it's moving back and forth. This is ridiculous. Why? Why are you doing this? Why do you do this to me? Oops. That's so weird. It's moving forward. Ah. Okay. Well, it wasn't behaving like that a minute ago. Alright, so I guess I'm just going to use their little locator things to match this up. It's really obnoxious, but it is what it is. That didn't even really work, did it? This is so weird. Oh. Wait. FK to IK. But then this guy doesn't work, right? Because it's gonna do some weird stuff for us when, oh, hello. When I constrain it. Yeah, that's not cool, man. Why is it happening? Okay, so rotate X is like off by 180 degrees. So what happens if I just do 180? Okay, well that worked. That's super annoying and definitely something that should be fixed in this rig. And I would, you know, have a thing or two to say about that. But I'm not going to dig into this rig right now. So we're just gonna know that we need to offset the X by 180 degrees on specifically the hip when we're doing this matching. But for the rest of these, it seemed like they were accurate. Oh, or not. Wow, okay. That's annoying. Weird. How about you? Will you work? No, see, now you are proper for some reason. Ah, why? Why does it have to be like this? All right, in any case, save a key, and then we gotta go delete these constraints. Ah, except, what's the deal? Why aren't you saving? You should be saving your position. What on earth? Oh, do I? Oh, is it 'cause... Yeah, alright. Maybe. We'll see. Nope. Well, that's really not cool, guys. I want you to save a key. And you're not working. Well... whatever. Fun times with rigs. Fun times with rigs. Well, in any case, I have been streaming for a solid 2 hours now, and my body would like to take a break. So, I am just going to put up a little AFK window. I'm just really gonna... How should I do this, guys? Weird. This is so hacky. So hacky. Gotta make myself a... Taking a break. See you soon. Maybe let's put in quick, just so people don't think I'm gone for like 10 hours or something. Ah! There you go. There is my break notification. How's that for you guys? Oh yeah. All right. I will see you in 5-ish minutes. That's probably all I need. Alright, I'm back. Maybe next time I will have a less tacky screen to put up there. Should probably make one of those cool title slates that people have with like neat art and whatever, but meh. Oh, it looks like I left caps lock on. That would be no good. Okay, what is the next step? Oh yeah, that's right. We're... See, this is why I get into a groove with the animation, because all it takes is stepping away for like 1 second to forget what I was doing. We are trying to match up these legs and kind of failing because the tools are not good for this rig. Boo! Alright, so let's take a look at our video reference again, just to have a quick little reminder. I like to refer to it, definitely, but like we're not gonna do everything perfectly the same as this reference. But I do want to check out like what his legs are doing. I quite like how his legs are moving. See how fluidly that right leg is constantly traveling forward? That's pretty nice. Sunny D, hey there, welcome. Back on track pretty quickly. Well, let's hope so. Okay. Make sure our IK and FK are gonna line up all right here. Hello, Tom Vizard. Welcome to the stream. Oh yeah, see, this right here is exactly why you don't want to leave it up to your Maya or any program probably to interpolate IK to FK switching. Look at that beautiful leg that we have here. That is just wonderful. So let's see. We're going to zero that out, and I think we'll just put that into stepped for now. Oh my god, what's going on? The joys of 3D animation. So now, I don't know why... Okay, so for some reason our... Oh, did I save a key at the beginning and the end? Yes. I probably messed this up, didn't I? Yes, okay. So, plus equals 5. Oh my god. Beautiful! Beautiful! That looks incredibly comfortable. There we go. That's a little better. Ah! My legs are no longer broken. Except now we need to figure this out here. So, let's see. We're gonna give this IK FK matching thing another try. We'll see if it works for IK to FK. So if we do this and grab this guy, wait. What just happened here? I thought I wanted... Huh. This isn't really working, is it? Ballet vibes. Yeah. Yeah, if you want your legs to be completely broken backwards in ballet, I suppose so. Alright, so this... Unfortunately, this IK-FK switching tool that is built into this rig does not seem to be super helpful. I was expecting these locators to basically snap to the joints that we have our IK in right now, but that is not working. I wonder what happens if I just delete all the keys on this. And oh, or I'm being like really stupid and am looking at the locators for the other leg. Okay. Yep. Wow. That, I just had a moment, guys. Forgive me. No one's yelling at me in chat for being dumb yet, so maybe you missed it too. All right, so aha, yes, okay. I just like wasn't noticing them because I thought it looked like they were attached to the right foot. Again, this seems like not the best system. I feel like the person who made this rig could have actually scripted this to do the part that I'm about to do, but whatever. That's what you get when you have free rigs, right? So let's see, constrain, point, apply, and then we want to do constrain, orient, apply, save a key on that, and then we'll need to do the same thing with this pull vector, except all we need is point constraint for the pull vector. There we are. And I actually want to move that out in front. Oh, or I can't until I delete the constraint. Wait, where did... Oh, derp. Okay. Delete that. Oh no, not again. Why is this happening? Why, guys? The same thing's gonna happen when I delete this constraint too, isn't it? Nope. Okay, that one worked for some reason. But why isn't this one working? Okay. I guess I didn't press my S key hard enough. Anyway, I'm gonna pull this out in front of the leg so we don't get flipping super easily. Alright. Gotta remember to save my file. Oh. Now what is going on here? Alright, this needs to be instepped. Okay, that's better. That's all it was. Then the other foot, we need to give the same treatment here. So for this one, we want to match the FK to the IK. And then we will just for a moment switch this to FK, and hopefully this is going to work like I'm expecting it to. Oh goodness, that's right, we've got this offset that I think we have to deal with. Yeah, oh my god, so annoying. All right, fine, I'll play your silly games. Maybe this is why it wasn't working for me when I deleted the constraint, because of the offset issue. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna hit S instead of Shift E and see if that helps us at all. But you want to be 0, don't you? Yep. So weird, guys. Okay, so what happens when we delete these? No, really? It's not gonna work. Okay. Oh my. 288. That's no bueno. Well, what do we do here, guys? Wait. Why did that work? Oh my gosh. Ah! Alright. I don't know why this is acting the way it is, but we can hopefully just go negative equals 360. And that'll be a lot better. Okay, cool. And then this one, what's gonna happen? Yay! It stayed the same. I don't know why, guys. It seems to be a little buggy, but that's what I wanted it to do, so that's good, I guess. But the funny thing is, we actually do want this frame to be in IK. I mostly was just trying to do that to get, like, the matching motion there. Oh, except, yeah, we should make this match the rotation that we had in her final pose here. And then this foot is gonna stay planted a little bit longer here. I think we really only need 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's probably fine. Again, for those of you who weren't here at the beginning of the stream, the way I'm approaching this run is I am pretending as though I'm making it for a game engine where we would, or sorry, not the run. This is a jump, but I am pose matching it to what my running pose would be in a game engine. So the first and the last frames need to match that pose, but she has moved exactly 5 meters in Z. So that's why she's like ending her animation in this weird pose. Unfortunately, that is just like one of the things that you miss out on in games, is you don't always get to make stuff look really beautiful, but we can try. Okay. It's coming together. I think the speed is pretty good. Obviously, her takeoff and landing need a lot of work. I mean, everything needs a lot of work yet, right? But basically, I'm just trying to plot out the motion at this point. And I think it's working. I think the speed and distance are feeling pretty good here. Let's check the front view. Obviously, her arms are doing some crazy stuff right now. But now that we've got her feet in IK whenever they're planted on the ground, that means I can actually do some X translation in here. So as she takes off in her run, she's starting... Oh, I'm not going to change her front pose anymore. Let's get a motion trail back on here, shall we? Where are you? I should probably make a hotkey button for this so that I don't keep doing this. Alright, you can see we've got a weird thing going on with her X translation here. For some reason, I had her... Come on. Oh no. This is rough. Did that even do anything? What's going on? Oh, that's rotate. I'm a dummy. Okay. Yeah, she's not translating X at all. So when she lands, she needs to be more over this foot. And then if we just delete this key here, that'll give her a much nicer arc through the air. So she's pushing off from her left foot, or sorry, from her right foot, which means she's starting off more to her right and pushing towards her left until she lands. In fact, let's grab this key and move it up a little bit. But we want her to come back to center a little bit quicker than she is right now. Cool. And yes, I know her leg is popping there. That's because of some more IKFK interpolation that we'll take care of later, but it's not a big deal. Okay, let's check the right view. All right, I really want to work on this takeoff pose here. Again, our video reference isn't great for a takeoff pose. I'm gonna kind of do my own thing because as you can see here, he's like leaning back really far because he's like going up a step, and we don't want to do that because the physics are gonna look wrong. The other guy isn't doing it quite as much, but again, animation, sometimes the point is really exaggerating things or making it look better than it does in reality. But we do want a nice squish down here. And her translate Z should not be flat like this. So our character is mid-stride, which means she would not be slowing down here. So I'm going to fix that. And we might actually push this back a frame. Okay, so I can delete this key now because I'm not worried about my step stuff anymore. And let's just change that a little bit there. So I think this is going to be her squish down. And it's going to kind of look poppy, but we really want it to feel snappy for the input when the player pushes their button. In fact, this might actually be too many frames. I'm gonna cheat again, guys. I'm gonna cheat, and I'm just, instead of like scooching everything back, I'm just going to scooch everything forward a frame. So let's grab that, save key. I'll just delete that, and now we're starting on frame 1. This normally doesn't matter working on a game engine, because like if I were to say I had an animation clip that was frames 30 to 45 and I exported those and brought them into Unity or Unreal, in the engine it's just going to tell you that it's 15 frames long. So the engine doesn't really care what your frame number is. It's just like a matter of cleanliness, I suppose. Oh, now how did this get messed up? Rip. You, sir, do not misbehave. Okay, so now it's basically she goes from her run pose, and then we're gonna have an anticipation pose and a takeoff pose. Let's give a little bend to her foot. Oops, if I can actually grab her foot control. Alright, I'm gonna do something a little nicer with her arms here, and I actually might go in and start posing her hands a little, because it's kind of bothering me. Yeah, why don't we do that actually? So I think I have to turn on the controls in the head for some silly reason. Also, why does she have an S tattoo? She's supposed to be like Sam as in Samus. I don't know. I never really played that game, but I just realized like, oh yeah, her name is Sam and she's like got an orange suit on and she kind of looks video gamey. I'm sure I just lost a bunch of viewers by saying I never played it, but there you go. Where were the finger controls? This is, I guess, when I need to turn the help back on. Look at face, neck, hair. Sit in the arm. Oh, fingers and invis. Derp. No? Oh, what? Oh. God. Does this not... Oh, no. Please let me... Oh no. Can I not control each individual knuckle? Okay. Oh my god. Alright, that's weird. Well, this really sucks. I am not a fan of controls like this, guys. I absolutely hate it. Give me the circles around the knuckles, please. Let me go in here, grab the controls, you know, like you would the wrist, and do this. I hate these set-driven key setups that people do because you don't have control over it. Like, what if it doesn't bend as far as I want it to? Oh. Well, I was wrong about that. But anyway, like, sometimes a rig will look weird and you kind of want to, like, fix the fingers and you might, like, sort of break it in the sense where I might want to rotate or, like, twist a joint in a way that you wouldn't, like, actually twist your finger joints because they don't move that way. Or maybe you actually want the character to have a broken finger and it's like you want to do that on purpose. So I am not a fan of the set-driven keys. Not to mention, like, what really sucks is if I'm like, oh, I want to rotate these fingers 90 degrees. Well, I don't know what 90 degrees is. It's like, okay, so that's 90 degrees, which is an arbitrary 10.5. Okay, cool. That's really annoying. Anyway, it looks like that's what we have to work with. At first, I thought it wasn't even going to let me control the fingers individually, which was going to be super upsetting. That it was just going to make me... Whoa, oh my god. These are in IK, apparently? Ah! Why? Why is that the cupping animation? No! Oh, you see why I want to control this individually? Because this is bad. I don't like it. Why? Why? Why is that a thing? Oh my god. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, that's kind of cool. All right, I'll give him that. That one's sort of cool. That's gonna be an extremely specific use case scenario. But what is this cup, man? That is no. No, 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 no. What is this thing? Oh, weird. What? So I have a thumb orient, but no other fingers? So I guess if you cup this and then... Ugh. Yeah, that's gonna give you some unwanted results when you try to interpolate between those, so... This is something else. We are not going to do too much hand animation, guys. How about that? But let's turn these fingers on. Like, the only thing that's good about this is, in my opinion, that it's really easy to select all of the fingers since they're all on these controls. Like, I might not even need to make a shelf button for this, where I can just be like, do, okay, key. Whereas if I had, like, the individual controls and her hand is, like, in front of her torso or something, it's like, oh, it's really hard to select all those controls without selecting, like, other controls behind it. So that is the one positive thing I can say about this, but otherwise I hate it. Because look at this. This is... I'm going to try to make a fist. Curl. And see, this is the thing. I don't want to actually animate the curl and then animate the bends because it's going to be like a mess of counter animation. So I'm just... Oh my god. Why? Oh, can we make them long? Ha! Whoop. Boop, boop. That's weird. Watch out! I'm gonna poke your eyes out. Wow. Okay. This is a interesting rig here. We're not gonna deal with that. But if in case you didn't think her fingers were long enough, or you wanted to like smash your finger in a door and have her stretch her hand, you can do that with this rig, guys. I want her hands in a fist, but it's not going to be like a super clenched fist or anything. Oh! Oh no! Can spread work? Okay, thank God. I was like, I just want her finger to go like this. See, and I'm hitting E. Ah! I did it again. I'm trying to hit E to grab this rotation, but oh my god, this is awful. I think I'm gonna have to like install Studio Library just so I can save these hand poses so I don't have to key them all the time. Ah! So finicky. That's the other thing is like if you have the rotation controls, you can make them micro movements more by like making your manipulator bigger or smaller like so, but you can't do that with these set driven keys. It's all the same. Also, her knuckle is bending at a really weird... This doesn't look good. Oh my god. And there's the other thing. When I hit F, I want to like center it around the finger so I can look at it, but it's centering it around this guy. I've noticed that the longer I animate, the more picky I get about my rigs. Like, probably a few years ago, I'd have been like, oh my god, this is so cool. And I'm like, no. I don't like things being automated for me. I like to automate things myself if I know what's going on, but I don't like random tools automating this for me. Oh my god. I just wanted to go like this, guys. How do I? I wonder if at the very least I can like copy and paste this pose to the other hand. See, I'm zoomed in and I want to select the pinky, but I can't. I have to go into here and select lean. Go into here. Ah. Well, I was thinking this rig was pretty okay until I got to this point. Look at these spider hands. But if I bend her knuckles more, then it's gonna get this weird... What is that? Oh my god, it's so bad. It kind of ruined this for me, honestly. Can I like go talk to this guy and be like, dude, look, you need to fix your rig. Even though I'm not paying you money for it. Fix it, please. Oh. Ah, this is... See, I told you guys I was scared of these hands. I could just tell by the way... Like, you don't skin hands and rig hands like this. This is not a natural position. You want to skin and rig hands in this position because this is overextended. This is natural. And so already like I knew, oh god, the fact that he has paddle hands on this character is a bad sign. And indeed, I was right. The question is, can we just make this good enough? Oh, God. Oh, my rotation axis. I might honestly be tempted to, off camera, like go in, figure this out, and break the rig and add my own controls for this. So weird. I guess that kind of helps a little bit, doing the metacarpals. But what is this? Why are her knuckles? Is she supposed to have, like, padding? Maybe that's what he was going for? Like, oh, she's got knuckle padding in her gloves or something? I suppose. Oh, but then she's got, like, a fingernail on her thumb, so I think the person just didn't know. In any case, we're kind of getting it. Her knuckles are... Yeah, I guess she doesn't need to be in as much of a fist as this. Her knuckles are not the right lengths, really, either. Like, if you look at my finger like this, see how my first and second knuckle are, like, pretty close in length? Like, this is a little shorter than this, is a little shorter than this. But this sucker is, like, she's got teeny tiny fingertips. Whoop. I just wanted to see what happened. So weird. And right now I would like to twist this guy, but I think that's gonna twist the whole finger. Yeah. Oh, or wait, did I? I did not mean to put a lean on there. Oh, wait, yes I did. No, no I didn't. It's spread. Spread is what I want. Ah, I did it here too. Maybe that's part of my problem. Maybe it's because I did spread instead of, or I mean, lean instead of spread. But who puts lean on their fingers though? That's so weird. But yeah, see, again, like this pinky is out and I want to like take this joint and I want to twist it in, but I can't do that because it's mean. So mean. Fine, I guess I'll... But see, then that twists all the joints, and I don't want that either. Guess I gotta make do. This is part of the challenge, right? Yeah, so she's like gonna have her running, but she's not like ready to punch somebody, right? So maybe rest her thumbs a little bit more on top instead of clenching. But it looks kind of like her thumb is too long almost. Yeah, it is sort of too long. Phew! That is not a pretty looking hand. Alright, let's see if we can at least copy and paste this over to the other one so I don't have to pose this out twice. That would be super annoying. Save keys on all these. Oop, you. And now let's see what happens. Did that not... Does it not have orient? What? Huh? Oh my god. Where... Why don't I see X, Y, and Z in the graph editor? That's freaking weird. Alright, well fine. I guess we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. I don't know why it's not showing up in the graph editor. See if the rotations are at least the same on these. Okay, we'll just do 5 and 1. Don't need to copy and paste that. No, that's not the same at all. Oh my god, was I being stupid and my graph editor was back too far? No. No, I was not. Shoot. I don't know if this is gonna work, but let's try. Yeah, we want insert. Oh, whoops. I still had an offset left from my video. Okay, well, that worked at least. It's still gonna be kind of annoying to go through and make sure I got all these proper. I don't want to accidentally futz with the set-driven factor. So you see this like key back here that's at 0 and then 1? That I believe that has something to do with the set-driven key. And if I accidentally mess with that, then I will break the rig, which is another reason I don't like using set-driven keys most of the time. And once again, that was something... Uh-oh. That was something that I changed my tune on over time because I used to love set-driven keys. I thought they were so cool. And now I'm like, nah, just let me, like, animate the bones, man. So much easier. Okay. Well, that's good at least. Oh. I didn't properly... Oh no, that still didn't work, did it? 2.3, 2.1. Is that all that we need? Yeah, okay. Cool. Alright, well normally I don't like to make hands exactly the same as one another, but these are a pain in the butt to pose. Maybe I'll change the thumb a little bit or something. Bring this out a tiny bit. Don't forget to stretch and look away from your computer, guys. Oh, excuse me. Oh, do you like my shirt? It's like my fox. It's got little space foxes on it. I don't know if you can see it. I like wearing shirts with foxes on them. Oh, it's starting to fade now too. I just noticed. Sad face. I'll have to find more space foxes. Okay. Well, let's see. After all that, now we had better save a key for these on frame 30. Yeah, and see, we're gonna want at least one pose of her hands coming out of the fist so that while she's jumping, she's more like this. But aside from that, I don't think I really want to animate those fingers too much. This still isn't a very strong pose here. I guess this arm would be a little bit straighter because her arm is coming forward. Except when you're running, you are leading with your wrists a little more than you normally would be, so there's that. Again, this is cheating a little bit because, like I said, you would have to match the pose that you already had sorted out for the run, but since we didn't have a run previously, I'm not too worried about it. Let's see. Should also rotate her a little. That's better. A little more interesting. Again, not a fan of this head being translate, but we're gonna deal with that at a later time and put her on a constraint situation to make it a little better. Yeah, that looks a little better than what we had. I think another thing I might do is make this foot a little more interesting. Rotate it in a bit so it's not perfectly up and down. Not a fan of it touching her other leg there, but she does kind of have weird skinny legs. How about we... I don't know if I like that. But we're gonna leave that for now. So I think I can probably just do a Shift E to save a key on this frame after all this changes. So that way I don't mess up my cog. Oh, right. I guess I did translate her chest a little. So let's go ahead and save that too. There we go. Alright, so now we can get back to what I was doing some time ago and get this takeoff pose a little better. So we want her to really like scrunch down. Again, this is not gonna be super realistic, but we want to give it like kind of a faked anticipation. So we're gonna bend her down like so. I also feel like she's not jumping off the ground fast enough here. Weird. It looks okay in the graph editor. Is it the Translate Z that's from? I don't know. Aria said, hey, just jump into this live stream. What is the purpose of opening hypergraph hierarchy while animating? Is it only of selecting the NURBS or else? Oh, that is a good question. So most of the time, it's not really necessary. I could probably just like squish this out. The reason why I've had it there is because the way this rig is working, that if I want to match the IK to the FK, it's not actually doing it for me. What it does is it gives me these locators here. See this thing here? That was as a result of, like, if I go FK to IK, it placed those there. And if I want to match the FK to what the IK leg is doing, basically I have to constrain the IK controls to these locators, which is like how FK IK matching actually works under the hood. Is you have like these locators that you bake back and forth between the joint positions in order to do that. But it's weird because this rig won't automatically do it for me, but it'll make the locators. And so then what I do with that is if I take this and I constrain this to that and I go into orient and I'm like, boom, okay, yeah, it's a little crazy here. The easiest way to delete the constraint is to go into my hypergraph, and under here, I just go delete after I save the key. Like if I want to save the position, I would save a key on it first, and then I go delete the constraint, and that's how I would get my matching. But I absolutely do not need the hypergraph most of the time. You are correct, but I'm just going to leave it tucked away in there. Kind of hogging up screen space, isn't it? Now for the NURBS curves, I don't know if anybody has been wondering, but I can't remember if it's a built-in hotkey to Maya now, but I'm pressing Alt-1 and that just turns the NURBS on and off, which is nice because that way I can preview what things are doing. Ah, yes, okay, it is built in. Okay, and polygons are Alt-2, image planes Alt-4. So yeah, if I do that, Alt-2, it turns her off as well, which is super cool. I'm really glad that Maya added in that hotkey. At work, we're actually using Maya 2018, and I think that's a feature that was added specifically in Maya 2020. So I actually had to make a script for it in my 2018 to make it hot, because they don't even have like that as a hotkey option in Maya 2018. All right, so instead of her arms coming up like this, we want them to pull forward and take off. And this is what I was talking about, where the NURBS or the gimbal is going to be a little bit of a problem. So what I want to do here is I'm going to put some motion trails on her hands. Oh, please don't crash. I haven't saved recently. That's a good reminder for me to save. So now what I can do is, like, you can see, and I have it turned so that it's only gonna show me when I have these controls selected. So like this isn't a very good arc right now, especially from the side. So what I want to do is bring this down, and this is gonna be this is really ugly. If I had to interpolate this, like change this to 60 frames per second or something, then that would be really bad. But oh, let's see. So it is easier to do that in hypergraph hierarchy instead of the outliner, selecting the parent and stuff. I don't know that I would necessarily say it's easier per se. It's more just personal preference. You can totally do that in the outliner. The reason why I like using the hypergraph for a lot of things is like, say, oh my god, this rig is so huge. So say I made a whole bunch of groups and I wanted to like constrain, pretend I didn't like group them into each other. Like say I made all these nulls and I wanted to do some constraints or something. Like for me, it's so much easier to see all of this like laid out once here, and I can be like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I can like grab this and I can grab that and I can, you know, parent that together, or do this, or I can drag and drop that into here. Oh, maybe not. I don't know why that's not working. Ha! Just kidding. Well, for some reason my middle mouse drag and drop is not working. So pretend it does. Anyway, I like the hypergraph because of that, because I think it has a nice visual representation, whereas like in the outliner, it's like, you know, you'd have to go in here and it's like, oh, I made this group and then this null and then this group, and it's like, okay, now let me go open this up and open this up, and now I have to, so it's just, for me, it's a lot easier to do it in the hypergraph, but it's totally personal preference. You're absolutely right. You can just do everything in the outliner as well. But we can tuck this away for now. It is getting warm in my apartment, guys. I might go turn the air up a little bit real quick. Give me 1 minute. I will be right back. This is the funny thing about where I live. In Seattle, it's not very warm. Like, it's actually quite nice outside, but it's sunny out, and my apartment faces the west, and it's got a lot of windows, which is great for the view and the sunlight, but then it gets really warm in here when it's not that warm outside. Ah, you just click the bell to make sure to not miss my content. Oh, great. Thanks, Arya. I appreciate it. Actually, if any of you guys watching haven't yet and you'd like to, if you're enjoying the stream, if you can just like click the like button, that'd be really awesome. It would help the channel get discovered a little more, and I'll bring you more content as a result. But regardless, I appreciate all of you being right here right now. This is pretty fun, and I feel like I definitely need to do some more animation streaming. So, all right, back to working out this pose. So we want her to really kind of lead with her arms. It's also super weird that I can't rotate her clavicles. It's just translation. I don't like it. Oh no. That's right. I have a motion trail on here, so it's gonna like take a second to... Alright. Maya isn't super friendly with updating motion trails on the fly, as you can see. So I'm gonna delete that for now. This is one of those things, if you had like Animate, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that tool or not. I don't have it because I just really don't feel like I can justify the... I think it's like $30 a month? Or is it $30 a year? I'm not sure. If it's $30 a month, that's like more than I'm paying for my Maya license right now. And I'm like, it's just a tool, which it's a great tool, but yeah, anyway, their motion trails are much better, unfortunately, than Maya's built-in ones, but let's see, which arm? I think I want her right arm to come up slightly before the left arm, since like her left leg is coming forward. And yes, she is going into a jump where she needs to use both arms, but I still want to think about the mechanics of like, you know, right arm, left arm, or sorry, right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg, when like at least starting and ending a jump. So I'm gonna fix that a little bit here. Also, I'm not like a fan of her. I mean, your shoulders do come up when you reach forward, but she just looks so scrunched. It's weird. No, I don't want to do that. That's odd. looks like right now. No, no, I forgot this one has a motion trail too. Something doesn't feel quite right to me here. I think it's almost like her takeoff is too slow, or maybe it's just that right leg. Maybe I need to add some keys to that, and then, yeah, her arms are still doing funny things at the end too, but I'm just trying to focus on this first part right now. Yeah, I think maybe I just need to add a little bit of work to her leg here. So we'll do like the one straight pose, and honestly that's probably like a tiny bit too straight. It almost looks a little overextended here. So I'm just gonna tweak that a tiny bit just so it's not overextended. Whoa, why is her what? Did I leave a constraint on here? Oh, I did! Looky there. Let's get rid of that guy. Oh, and of course you're not gonna cooperate the way I want you to, are you? Come on, save the key. And now, damn it! Sometimes this is working and sometimes it's not. I don't understand. It's just like, do I feel like cooperating or not? I'm not sure. Alright. Key selected. No? So like, what happens if I... Whoa. Whoa. So the constraint isn't controlling it anymore. I don't know, guys. This rig. This is why I don't like overly complicated stuff. Whatever. I'm just gonna hand key it because it's only like for a frame. Alright, so we want... Let's take a look at our video reference again. This leg kicks back pretty quickly, so we can see his toe actually kind of like swipes across the ground, because you can see his toe is really touching the edge of that wall there, and then as he kicks it up, it almost goes back a little as he brings his leg up. Oh man, I love this pose right here. He almost kicks himself in the butt. His leg is so bent. So let's try to incorporate some of that. Yeah, I think I'll do that here. We're not gonna go all the way just because she's very lanky, so it'd be kind of weird if she could bend her legs that much. But we kind of want to bring this leg back because she's really like pushing off with that leg. Whoa, what is all of this? Oh my god. Huh. Okay, well she's jumping so fast she left her teeth behind. Okay, it's fixed itself? I don't know, guys. What's going on? Sunny D says, if you've never kicked your own ass jumping, you haven't tried. This is very true. It is, I feel, a somewhat challenging thing to do. I have in the past, but I don't know that I could do it right now. I don't know if you guys want to see me attempt that or not. That was a very terrifying... Oh my god, it's back! What is happening? I broke something. I don't know what. What happens if I do this? Oh, okay, so that's just a visual bug. That's good news, I guess. Yay, fun times with Maya. Huh. Oh, that happened to you too, huh? She left her teeth behind? That's terrifying. I think it might have something to do with, like, some graphical error in Maya 2020 or something, because on the Amanda rig that I was using for the walk cycle, like, I would also get some weird bug with her NURBS curves not updating. So... How are you liking the rig, Arya? Thanks, Zach. What are you trying to animate right now? Are you also doing a jump, or are you just toying around with her? Gonna put a motion trail on this ankle to see what's going on here. I think it's looking okay, but I just like to do that every now and then. That's not too bad. Actually, that's pretty okay. It's got a little bit of a flatness right there that we'll want to tweak later, but that's all right. Yeah. Did I lose my down arc? Oh no, that's her foot. I was like, what happened to my height arc here? But then I realized that's her ankle, not her cog. I mean, obviously, again, her landing is still much too soft, but we'll worry about that later. Oh, you're doing animation with the Aang rig. Yes. Yeah, I used him a little bit too. I didn't encounter that bug with him, but I also didn't spend as much time with him. Yeah, I think it must be. Are you using Maya 2020 or an earlier version? Because I have never encountered that bug at work, but we are using 2018, so... Cool, I can delete that for now. I think she needs to be rotated a little more forward in this pose here. Oh, is that gonna mess up our... Oh no, it's not gonna mess up our legs. Great. Oh no, look at her hair. Could fix that later too, I guess. Yes, 2020. Okay. Probably a well-known bug then. I'm still not a fan of this anticipation pose. I'm kind of trying to fake it. Like, you wouldn't really curl up like that before taking off, so maybe I just shouldn't do that. Maybe it's all about the down motion that I should be worried about. So I'm going to delete those keys on her torso and see if that helps at all. Will be fun if you can get feedback from a professional. Yeah, if you're ever at a point, or like when you're at a point where you want feedback, I think, yeah, I'd love to help you out. I think the easiest way would probably be to like upload it to Sync Sketch, or if you're familiar with Sync Sketch, it's a web browser tool where you can upload your animations for free, and then people can go in there and like leave comments and do drawovers and stuff like that. So that'd probably be, I think, the easiest way to do that. But you know, I almost wonder if her Z is maybe a little too far forward right here. So let's push her back just a smidge. Oh no, except, no, I have to match the leg. Erger, burger, burgle. I said words, I swear. Here, let me, this is the link I was talking about. It's honestly pretty cool. I only learned that that existed like a couple months ago when an animator we were interviewing told us about it. So, didn't hire the guy, but I got some free information from him, so yay! It wasn't up to me, I swear. Okay, so I guess I'm just going to oh right, the IK matching seems to work a little better. Or does it? Actually, now I don't know. Let's just see what we can achieve here. I'm just gonna do the manual crap because I'm too annoyed with this, the way this foot roll works. I'm just gonna do it like so. Let's see, toe wiggle. Sometimes you just gotta brute force stuff. This is another reason I like using the orthographic view sometimes, is because it makes it a hell of a lot easier to match keyframes. Like you match it in the side and then you match it in the front, and it won't mess up the side when you're in the front and vice versa. Whereas if you try to do that all in perspective view, it can be a real nightmare. Okay, I actually kind of like her toe wiggle when she takes off here, so we'll put one key on that. And, oh, right, she's supposed to go back to FK now, isn't she? Yeah. There we go. Why with the head? No. Ah! Oh my god. Why? Why? I don't like it, guys. Where? So I'll show you what I'm gonna do eventually when I actually want to nail down this head animation. What I would do is create a locator and whoa, why is it so big? Something is weird about the scale of this file. Oh, no, not that way. Ah! Come on, 0.001. So I would find it. Of course, I'd be a little more precise with this, but what I'm planning on doing is basically taking this and constraining it to the head. Probably a point constraint or a parent constraint. I think I want to do a parent constraint, and I would maintain the offset and do that. And then this guy would be constrained to like her chest motion. So then, see, that's where I would want her head and neck to rotate from. And then, unfortunately, in order to like, you know, because it's like I want a joint here too, because I want to be able to rotate her head right here, but I have to do the constraint thing and animate that and then rotate the head afterwards, and it's just like, what on earth is that about? So we're gonna do that at the very end. So if any of you are joining this stream after I found it earlier, there is a neck control, but does not work. Oh, hang on. I may have just realized something. No. Okay, yeah. See, this is stupid. The neck control, you can only translate it. Like, what is that? Why? Why is that a thing? Who would ever want to do this? What? Like, no. No, 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 no. Like, even if I change this to... let's see. Let's put that in chest. Nope, still doesn't work. And like, why even bother having a neck control at that point? That's ridiculous. Let me tell you how I really feel. This is maybe why I should do some rig review videos, because like after I've done any animation with these, you know, I discover all the ins and outs, and this one, it's like, there are a lot of things I like about this so far. There are like some simplicities that I really appreciate, but then when it comes down to this weird IK stuff everywhere in the body and like the terrible hand controls, just no. But we'll make it work. Like I said, it's just something we're probably going to do very late in the process. And make that leg keep traveling up a little bit there as she's flying through the air. Also, we probably want to rotate this foot forward because she'd kind of be kicking forward, so I shouldn't have it back like that. So definitely the part that bothers me the most about this animation right now, like the next thing that bothers me, like I feel like the takeoff is looking a little better, but the next thing that bothers me is the landing. It's very soft, and I do want to make that looking good, but at the same time, I think it's important to get her time spent in the air figured out before I go to the landing, because if I decide to do something different with her arms while she's in the air, then that can affect what happens at the ending. So even though that is like the thing that sticks out to me most visually that needs to be worked on next is the landing, I think I'm actually going to save that for later. So the next thing we'll do is just try and figure out the arm motion in the air a little better. But I'm not sure I really want to get started on that right now. I kind of didn't want to do too long of a stream today, and we're getting close to 4 hours, so I'll stick around for a little bit in case anybody wants to ask anything or whatnot, but probably end the stream here in about 5 or 10 minutes. Yeah, these arms are gonna be a bit of a challenge because of... Oh, you know what? Okay. We could use this... see, again, I don't want to, like, go in and use double controls and everything for animating, because then, like, as soon as you want to fix a motion, then you don't know what is causing the weird, funky motion that you were doing. So I want to see if I can make it work with just the regular shoulder control, but it might take a little bit of finagling. Let's get my video reference back here again. So he goes up in the air. I guess he kind of had his arms out to the side a little more than we did, but all right, so uses his arms to get up. And maybe I should have them go above her head a little more than they already are. And then they swing back behind him as he's coming in for his land. So let's try to emulate that. Yeah, maybe in this frame we'll have them go even higher. Yeah, I don't like this gimbal thing that's happening here. Let's see if we can fix that. Let's see, maybe a request for next video. Sharing your experience in animation industry in a live stream, so maybe you can ask some questions directly. Must be fun. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. The only hesitation I have on that is, like, the channel is still really small, and I don't know, like, I'm thrilled that you would like to ask questions, and I'd love to answer anything you want to know. I don't know that I could make a whole stream out of that at this point, definitely in the future, but certainly, like, I'm happy to answer questions, like, while I'm animating too, if there's anything that you want to ask. But certainly in the future, I can have a stream that's, like, dedicated specifically to that. So thank you for that suggestion. Yeah, she looks so excited all the time. Yeah! Yeah! While she's jumping through the air. Oh. Well, thank you, Arya. I look forward to it. I am gonna give her a little bit more of a open-fingered pose later on as she's, like, while she's in the air. But as I mentioned earlier, her hand rig is just kind of a pain in the butt. So I'm waiting until the absolute last moment that I have to do that. Huh? Some good skinning here, guys. Yeah, good stuff. Ooh, beautiful. Beautiful knee. Oh, man, that's rough. That's super rough. I don't know if I could fix that myself or not with going in there and tweaking the skinning, but it's probably not the greatest geo. Let's see what the geo looks like. Ooh, yeah, okay. This is not how you would want to model a knee. That explains a lot. Generally, with the knees and elbows, you're gonna have like extra polygons like right at the bendy part so that you can get some better looking deformation than this. I'm not really gonna worry about it too much. I don't want that to hold me back from animating what I want to animate. And just keep in mind, like, if you're actually working at a studio, they're probably going to be better than this. Or if they're not, you can, you know, talk to them about it. Be like, hey, is there anything we can do to make the skinning a little better? And chances are they will be able to. So generally, don't let bad skinning hold you back from doing the animation that you want to do. And even if, like, say you're using this character on your demo reel and you're trying to get a job and you are like worried about, oh man, what if they see this bad skinning and they're gonna be mad. I can tell you for a fact that, like, nobody looking at your animation reel cares about the bad skinning of a character. You know, if you're trying to get a job as a tech artist or a tech animator and this is the character that you made, then it's very important to not have it look like this. But if you're just an animator and you happen to be stuck working with some rigs that don't have the best skinning, don't worry about it. Just make the animation that you want to make it look good. And when people are going frame by framing through this, they'll be like, oh, that's too bad that their rig they were using wasn't very good. But it's not a knock against you as an animator. So I'm just gonna ignore the fact that the knee looks bad because I want to be able to have this pose on this character. And unless you're actually sitting there watching it frame by frame, you're not really even gonna notice it because she's moving fast enough for that to not be seen. Anyway, I think that is going to be a good place to stop the stream for today. This was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you for joining me. I'm excited to do this more in the future and talk to you all and do a bunch more animations, because no matter how many animations you've done, you can always be better and you can always learn more each time. Even by using a different rig, there's more things you learn. So thank you everyone so much for joining me today, and until next time, stay foxy.